Welcome back to my channel, guys. Today I'm going to be showing you how I made this beautiful corset. Please don't go anywhere and stay tuned. I have folded my fabric into two. I've laid down the interface, that's the air stay. So the essence of this is to give the fabric more structure. So I have marked 1/2 inch for sewing allowance, and this is the front and this is the back. I'm just going to go ahead and cut out. So guys, this is our corset pieces, and I've gone ahead to cut out the lining as well. And if you see, I've interfaced the lining. That means I've pressed down the air stay on the lining, just like I did on the fabric as well. So I'm going to start stitching. So if you look around, you see that I've done that for all the pieces, both the front and the back. Guys, don't forget we are cutting on fold. The center front is being cut on fold. So I'll take out these pattern pieces and we can get started. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick one of my panels and place it on my center front. So I'm going to pin this together and then stitch this down with my sewing machine. I have stitched the two pieces together and ironed it. Now I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the other side, just like I did, and then I'll join the rest of the pieces together. So guys, the three pieces are stitched together, the left and the right side together on the front side. Now I'm going to add this and sew it down. I'm also going to do this on the other side. Guys, you can see our bust is taking shape after joining the pieces together. So if I flip it around, you can see that I've gone ahead to iron it. Please make sure you iron. Moving on to the back, what I'm going to do is to be stitching the three panels together. So the three panels are going to be stitching together. So I've done it here. You see how nice it's looking. I've pressed it down and I did the same for the lining as well. And if I place it together, you see that it's already taking shape. So we're going to be working on the center pieces, and I'll take these side pieces out first. So we're going to get a soft wadding, as soft as you want to go. I'm going to trace out the bust area on the side, at the center front, and on the other side. I'm just going to trace it out. Make sure to trim it to leave out your sewing allowance. So I've gone ahead to iron my interface, so I've done that on all of the three pieces. Now I'm going to be stitching them all together. So moving on next, you see how nice this all looking, all clean and well drafted. So we'll fold it in to work on our caging. I'll put the tailor's ham in, so I'm going to use my pen and mark the points where we're going to be caging. Always try to keep your tailor's ham underneath your bust area to help retain the shape of the bust. So what I'm doing right now is marking the points where we're going to be caging. Now we're going to be finding the point of our nipple to nipple measurement, the highest point. So we look for the highest point and mark on it. That's my own. So I'm going to mark it and then connect it to the other side. So that's the highest point. And now I'm going to join the lines together. Now I'm also going to stretch down the line to get to the other end on both sides. See how this is where we're going to be caging? Round under the bust point. So I'm going to find the middle point of my center front panel and divide it into two. So after dividing it, I'll mark the point and extend the line together. And we're also going to cage this point. We're going to be using Regiline boning caging. So you see all those lines that has been drawn. I'll place the boning on top of it and stitch the boning to those points. So we'll do this for all the lines. So I'll stitch all around it. I'm just going to place this on this and stitch it. When you're stitching your bustier line, please follow the natural curve. And be careful, then fold it in while you're stitching. Be careful and follow that curve. If not, you end up with a flat bustier after you're done stitching. I have gone ahead to do the rest of the caging off camera since I've shown you the most important parts. So always remember to put your tailor's ham while you're ironing your bust area to avoid it being flat. So we're just going to iron properly, iron every corner of this fabric, iron it and make it look very nice. Now on the bust area, we're going to be placing our gum stay. So put your gum stay all around your bust area. So there are different sizes of gum stay, but this is the one that I have. I have the one that is about 1 inch. So you can use whatever type you have, but make sure it's your gum stay you're putting, because we're going to be adding another fabric on top, which is the fiber fabric. This is the gum stay that I'm using. It's about 1 inch wide. So I've created layers of gum stay. Now we're moving on. So I've just placed my fiber fabric on top of my bust area, and then I'll press it very hard. So the goal is to structure the bust area, which is what that fiber is going to give us extra support. So we're going to press it down as much as possible to create the shape of our bust. So you keep pressing it until, and then you trim it out. So you can see we've trimmed out our fiber and it's looking all done properly. So if I should flip it around, you see that it's well constructed. On the back pattern, I've also gone ahead to place the boning on the joining of our channels. So I did that on both of our back pieces. I have gone ahead to cut out my bias. This bias is 1.5 inches wide and we're going to be using it for our boning channels. Because a lot of work was put into the lining, see how structured it's looking. So our main fabric is almost like so light, but if you put them together, you see that it's all coming into shape. So the lining itself is the major work. There'll be a boning channel on the bustier line. So I'm going to do a boning on the bustier line. All the lines that has been already placed in the front. So now I also create another one at the center front. So folding my fabric into two, I'm just going to mark it into two equal ends. So now that's the center. I'm going to mark that point and mark the other edge and then spread the fabric apart and create a straight line. So I'm using my ruler to create a straight line on the center front. So I'm just going to use my ruler again to mark all my bone channels. So every joining that I have will serve as a boning channel, and then you can also include as much as you like, but I'm just going to maintain the natural joinings that we already have. So I'm measuring it to make sure that they are all equal, and then I'll mark a straight line on them. For the back, we're going to be using the initial joining that we already have, the joining that we used to join our panels together. So we're going to retain it as our boning channels. So all I'm doing is just to mark a straight line on all of our joinings, and that will serve as our boning channel. So I'll cover it up and make sure that I'm stitching at the end of this Regina bone. So I'm going to be stitching on this. So make sure I press it inwards, so, and then I'll place it on my line as well. So I'm going to be stitching directly on this line. So I've stitched the boning on my fabric. All I'm going to be doing is to be trimming out the excess that is left, and then I'll fold it and then top stitch on it. I'll show you how to do it. To be trimming it off, make sure you're not trimming off your fabric, because we've gone so far. We've like getting to this point. You know how stressful it is to get to a point here. So you're just going to do yourself a favor and make sure that while you're trimming, you're not trimming out your main fabric. If you mistakenly trim out your fabric, you're literally going to be starting from the scratch. You know what I mean? So now this is what we have. See what we've got? So now all we're going to be doing is just to stitch on top of this, and that's it. So guys, I've just created my first boning channel. See how nice it's looking. I'm just going to go ahead and do the rest of the camera. See how flat and nice it's looking on our bustiers. So I'm just going to push this forward a little bit, like, you know, to create that curviness, and see how structured it is. So this is what our fabric is looking like. I used it in support of the lining, so if you take the lining out, it's not as structured, you see. So all the works is majorly on the lining. So if you take it out like this, this is what is looking. But placing it on our lining, you see how neat it's looking. It looks better on the lining than when not on the lining. So don't forget that to retain the structure of the bustier, when you're ironing, always place your tailor's ham under the bust area. Like, that's the only way you can retain the bust shape. So the channel on the back is also done, and same as the lining. So you go ahead and do this on the lining. I've shown you this before. This is necessary. I mean, it's not compulsory, but if you can, it just helps you to structure your corset properly. I will now go ahead and join my front piece and my back piece together, and then use my pin to pin it down. I'll now go to my sewing machine and stitch both sides together. After joining the side seams together, when I open it up, you see that I've pressed down our side seam. I've ironed it properly, and I did the same for our lining as well. Guys, the next thing to do is to use our regular boning with our bias and create a boning channel on our side seams. Go ahead to attach our boning to a side seam on both sides, so you can fold it in just to define your curve. The next thing we're going to do is to join our main fabric to our lining. So we'll just place it together and align it properly. Make sure that they are all aligned, and then I'm going to stitch all of this corner straight down. I'm done stitching the top end of our corset and I've notched around it. This would enable me to turn it easy. So you're going to notch, make sure you notch very well, so that way you can be able to turn your fabric properly. So we're going to be turning our fabric. We turn the good side out. So this is going to take a while. This took me a while to get to this point, and the reason is because of the bones that we've got, the bonings that we've got. So it's going to be a little bit difficult, but it's something you can do. Just take your time, and then after that you press it. So I've gone ahead to iron it, and you see that it's looking all nice and well done. On the both side of the center back, I've stitched down 1/2 inch on both sides, and this is going to be for our boning to support our grommet. So for this center back, we are specifically using plastic boning. So I'm going to be filing it with my nail file to make sure that it's smooth, so that it doesn't poke by the time we are done. So make sure you file it very well. So now I'm inserting our plastic boning into the stitches that we made. So I'll fold it in, make sure I push it in as much as I can, and then make sure that I create space for 1/2 inch for sewing allowance, so that I can be able to stitch properly. If I don't do it like that, I won't be able to stitch properly. So you know you can't stitch on plastic boning, so you need to push it in and leave in 1/2 inch at the bottom for taping. So make sure that your boning is right at the edge of your boning channel. Push it in as much as you can. Try as much as possible to push it in and do it properly. After inserting our plastic boning on the both end of our center back, we'll now move on to taping the bottom end of our corset with our bias. So fold in the edge of your bias and place it on your lining, on the lining side, and then stitch it together. So you have to just stitch from the top to bottom. That's all you're doing. So I'm done stitching it, so you see how clean it is. So all I'm going to do is just to trim out the excesses, trim it out, everything, just trim it out. And then after that we have to fold in the bias and then top stitch. Now that I'm done trimming, see, I'm just going to fold in, double fold it, you see, hold it down and then stitch it from the beginning to the end. Just fold it in neatly and stitch it. So guys, this is the end result of our corset. You see, you have to take extra care to actually get this and get it right. See, I'm going to be fixing the grommet of the corset on the center back, and after fixing it I'll show you. That will be a separate video because I don't want this video to be long. So if you want to see how I did the grommet for the lacing, please check down because I would post it after finishing, so you can watch it whenever you like. This is the final bit of the corset making. I've gone ahead to place the grommet on the center back. This is the part where we're going, of course everybody knows what it is, this is where we're going to be lacing the corset. So guys, that would be the end of this project. So this is me wearing the corset. So if you really enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe and give it a thumbs up. Thank you. See you on my next project. Bye.